wonderful day on Oakwood Avenue where miracles are made.
So you are mic'd up. We want to pick up everything. Any thoughts, any visions you have, we want to make this all about you. So outside of the questions we ask you about St. Agnes, um, we just, any thoughts that you have, like as we're walking, whatever the case may be, this is all about you. Some of it we'll use off camera, meaning they won't see your face, but they'll see B-roll of the campus and then hear your voice talking. And being able to connect the dots of what they see to what they hear. You know, we'll ask questions when we get to the front about the campus. I want you to take your time and talk about your campus. Because what we'll do is my vision is as you're talking about this grand HBCU and the richness.
Hey, yeah. The life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it and hoped that I was raised for the mice known to roam. If you got it out.
Dr. McPhail, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesomely well today.
Awesome. Tell the people, who are you? Tell the people who you are.
I am the special one. I am the 13th president of St. Augustine's University, appointed by the board, anointed by Lord Jesus, our Savior.
We are in front of the historic St. Agnes Hospital. For those that may not know what was, talk to us about this space.
I'm glad that you said talk to you about the space. Talk to you about the space. This is a space, but beyond it being a space, it's a mindset. When I first came over here, I did not know what I would experience. I did not know how I would feel. But then I got closer to the building and I indeed heard voices. Some people chuckled when I said I heard voices, but this is what I heard. I heard the ancestors speak to me and said, "Woman, don't you stand out there looking in. Don't you know who you are? You were brought here for this time. You were brought here to bring forward the history of St. Agnes that was planted years and years and years ago, and you are the one. Don't you know we had other options for people to come here and do this, but they didn't hear. But you hear because you are the one to deliver this message in ways that this magnificent building can become the space again. The space that cared for African Americans for so many decades, where no other entity like it existed from New Orleans all the way to Washington, D.C. And here's the thing right now, we have that same opportunity to regain the greatness that we inherited. And of course, I'm the one. I heard the calling, I heard the ancestors, do not dare look in. You come in, you own, you represent, and you do what we have called and asked you to do. And here I am.
The one. I love it. Why is this space so near and dear to your heart? What's the personal connection?
The personal connection to me is a historical mindset. Marcus Garvey once said that what humans have done, humans can do, and I so totally believe that that's where we are today in the HBCU world. The founders of the HBCU saw the necessity for a movement that would educate African Americans, a movement that would not only be inside the gates but would embrace the community, and we would work collectively to have more healthier communities, more educated communities, more economic development opportunities for our race. And the HBCU is that engine. So this is beyond the space. It's a mindset, it's a movement. We would be derelict in our responsibilities if we did not move forward what has been planted on these sacred grounds for a new day, a new era, a new way for improvement of everything around us, not only the education opportunities for our youth, but also for the betterment of our communities. We have to look through three lenses when we look at this space. We have to look through the cultural lens, where here we are, a people that has really been resilient through all kinds of hardships. The cultural aspect of who we are as an HBCU. We have to look at our political voices because we indeed carry the story. And then we have to look at the economic development. Right here at St. Augustine's University, we're one of the largest employers in this area. We have more land than any other single landowner in this area. So it's the time for us to step into the space of who we are, claim it, and take it forward. A new way, a new day, a better way for education and for our communities.
Thank you, Dr. McPhail.
There are 10 HBCUs in North Carolina. What makes the experience at St. Aug different than other HBCUs or other predominantly white institutions within the state?
Attendance at St. Augustine's University is unique. It's a magnificent, unique experience. So McPhail, how is that? When the student walks through the gate of St. Augustine's University, they enter what we call Falcon Land. And then they are taught to fly, they are taught to soar, they're taught to transform their lives. How do we do that? We do that by connecting with the students. And you'll say, of course, all universities in America say that they connect with the student. They do not connect with the student the way SAU connects with students. We tap into the student where they are. Students are not just demographics here, they are people. There's a South African phrase called sawubona, means I see you. So when the student comes to St. Augustine's University, we see that student. We have over 1,000 students here at St. Augustine's University, but we have 1,000 individuals. We don't see them collectively. We strategically and intentionally work to understand what the student wants. We provide that not only in curriculum, but here's the piece that's the glue. The unique experience at St. Augustine's University is a mindset. It's the yes, we can mindset. It's that I believe in you mindset. It's the idea that you will accomplish your goals. We don't stop until we finish. We have an attitude that if you come here, we have an obligation to help you obtain your goals. So that's distinctly different than what many students experience at other institutions. And we have what we call wraparound services. If you miss it the first time, or if you get lost, we're small enough that we can find you and get you back on track. And I think that's unique because many of the students that come to us the first time are finding their way. They don't know what they want to major in. They're not quite sure they even want to be here, and they want to do a little trial and error kind of thing. While we promote staying on course, if you do get off course, we will diligently work to get you back on course and get you back on track to accomplish your goals. So we don't make admission mistakes. We check ourselves out to make sure that the students are accomplishing what they need to accomplish.
I'm Dr. Leslie Rodriguez McClellan, Senior Vice President of Student Experience here at St. Augustine's University. St. Aug is very historic. It was built from a rock quarry of our students, and we've been here 156 years. So that's what makes us unique, special. We're a family-oriented institution. Our students get customized and personal experience, and definitely a quality education in the HBCU experience. So I came to St. Augustine's University for the history, for the experience, and to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a great location, a great institution, and I love North Carolina. I love everything about this HBCU, its positioning, and that we really, really provide the students the best of everything they can experience, not only for America, but for a global experience, and that's what we aim for our students.
What's up, good people? It's your boy, Bro Troy. We are back at it for another episode of the Bro Code Show. Fellas, another one. We are always, you know what makes us different is that you never know what we'll be.
That's right.
You know, and we've been here before, but it's the first time we've ever been in the president's office, right? I remember back in the day, I didn't want to go to the president's office. And now here we are, three of us, right? Back at it, but for different reasons.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So first and foremost, man, I love y'all like cook food. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's great to be on this campus again. I feel like I'm, back in my old school days and just enjoying the life on campus. So it's cool to be back in the midst.
Yeah, I love this campus. We have been here 5, 6, 7 times working, so I love this campus.
Yeah, I love it. You know what I love most too is that not only are we on the campus to serve, but here we are doing an interview, and we've got interns that walk up to us like, "Yo, Mr. Troy," wanting to take pictures. Yeah. Like, that's just love, and knowing that the work that we do is such a ripple effect. Yeah. And I love the space that we're in. So, here we are with the prestigious Dr. Christine Johnson McPhail. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome.
I hope you're doing well.
We're doing pretty good. I'm feeling really well. We're in your office.
Yes,
all
right. Yes.
We are fully excited. First and foremost, thank you.
Absolutely.
My honor, my pleasure.
You have been nothing past hospitable. It's a pleasure. We got Fiji water, like
Pellegrino.
Exactly. Laura Dooms, like that's my grandma's cookies. Like I felt, yes. So first and foremost, it's a pleasure. Thank you. We have a saying, and my grandmother says that it's a poor frog can't praise his own pond. And yes, your resume is lengthy. I'll be here all day, but who better to talk about you than you? So you have 90 seconds or less. Let the people know who you are.
One word describing me is that I'm inspiring. Some people may say, well, Dr. McPhail, I thought you were a motivator. No, I'm not. I hope that I can do something to inspire someone, because if I do something to inspire an individual, they own it. It's not just stuck. They won't be waiting for me the next day to come along and say something else motivating. But if I can inspire you, get inside your head, get inside your heart, you own that. And that's an extension of me. And I can look back weeks later and say, there goes my man, there goes my girl. And you're owning that. And so that's what's so wonderful to me as a teacher and as an educator, so that we can see these, what we call gems and wisdoms, and later on they're quoting you. And I'm saying, where you get that from, girl? They own it. And that's what this ancestral passage is all about. We're passing it on to the next generation, that Sankofian mind. We're looking backwards to help the next generation.
I love it. Thank you for that. Well, we're going to ease into this conversation. First, let's laugh and have a little good time. Is that okay with you?
I'm down for that.
Cool. So this is called rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind.
Got it.
Ready? Awesome. Are you an optimist or a realist?
Realist.
Are you an explorer or a homebody?
Explorer.
Breakfast food or dinner food?
Breakfast.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Do you believe in coincidence or fate?
Faith.
Get it done first or wait until the last minute?
Get it done first.
Win a close game or win an award?
Win a close game.
Would you rather be social or be alone?
I'd rather be social.
Work hard or play hard?
I want to do both.
I know
that's right. Would you rather drive or fly?
Fly.
Work on a puzzle or play a game?
Puzzle.
This one's for JC. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Dr. McPhail.
Interview
Rapid
over.
fire questions with Dr.
Over.
McPhail. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Look at his face. So I'm curious, they always say we can't respect where we're going until we honor where we're from. So I'd love to talk a little bit more about the household, how you grew up. What was the dynamics? What were some of the people in your earlier life that helped you get to where you are today?
That's a wonderful question. I smiled when you started to ask the question. I grew up in rural East Texas, in Tyler, Texas. I'm 9 of 10 children. My mom and dad were my heroes and sheroes from day one. The whole loving environment that I grew up in, I'd sell it if I could, because it was so wholesome. And not that we didn't have challenges, of course we had challenges, but we had the flexibility to grow with boundaries. And I can imagine myself and see myself now as a little girl being gifted by my mom with reading. And she tolerated the fact that I couldn't read, and I would have these books, and I'd be sitting there making up words, and when she could, she would tell me that it was right and whatever. But she never really said, you're doing it wrong. And she would say, baby girl, I think you need to practice that one again and say it back to me. And one of my favorite reading exercises with her was she loved to cook, and she'd have these recipe books, and I would be reading the books to her. And when I would get it, the 2 fluid ounces and those things mixed up, and I would say 2 fluid cups and stuff like that. She said, no, we got to go back there again. So what I would call that now, now that I'm educationally trained, I would call that corrective action that she gave me, never diminishing me as a person, but telling me what I did wrong in a way that I could grow from that experience. I never will forget her for that. So let's talk about the old man. That's what we call him. He was big as life in person and in image and voice. I had 7 brothers and 3 sisters. Almost all of them older than me except one. And my dad was like the man. Women loved him probably too much, but the men loved him too. So he was that kind of guy, sports, everything. Our house was like Grand Central Station on the weekend because people would be in a house. My older brothers and sisters would come home every Saturday morning. We'd have a big holiday feast, like most people would say, who were sitting around the house on Saturday morning. Everybody's telling stories. So I grew up in that kind of environment. But just didn't stop there. It also went to what some people call the village. I call it the community. And it was at church. It was at high school. So I grew up in a segregated teaching environment my whole life until I went to college. So some people tease me now, Dr. McPhail, you're a president of an HBCU and you didn't even graduate from one. I grew up in the HBCU experience in rural East Texas. Everybody saw me. Mr. Brown, when he saw you behaving, he called your mom or he called your dad. And they knew about what you had done wrong before you went home. These are, some of you young people, they don't know about that. But here, the stories are real. Listen to me. Those stories, my generation, what we experienced was real in our communities. Some of us are old enough to tell you about it. And it was wonderful. We didn't think it was wonderful then because we felt everybody was trying to correct us, and they were, so that we could be better people. So I experienced the HBCU world in K through 12. Went to high school called M&J Scott High School in Tyler, Texas. My principal's name was Asa Hilliard. He had 2 distinguished sons who grew out of his environment. Thomas Hilliard was one of the founders of the Black psychologist movement out in California. And the other Hilliard, Asa Hilliard Jr., was an Egyptologist, and he did a lot of work to help people understand our connections in Africa. And so that's the kind of environment I grew up in. And most of my teachers, by the way, gentlemen, were doctorates. They had, because they couldn't go any other place, and they absolutely loved pouring into us. My generation was a generation of hope. That's why I can sit here and tell you that inspiring, it didn't just start. It came back from those crazy, wonderful days in rural East Texas. And quite frankly, I didn't know I was poor until I went to college. I really didn't, because everything was working, right? Everybody wanted to go to college. We knew we were going to go to college and whatever. And when in sociology class, I'm sitting in sociology 101, I'm looking at all these characteristics of poor people. And I said, what? The professor said, Miss Johnson, you got a problem? I said, yeah, I'm poor. So we had a conversation about that, and it's not a joke. It really happened. But what happens if you didn't buy that label? Yeah. We didn't buy the label in East Texas. We didn't buy it at M&J Scott High School. So when I graduated from M&J Scott High School, I thought I could do anything that I wanted to do. And the rest is history.
I love that too. The story that comes to mind is the story of the bumblebee, right? They said the only reason it kept flying, like dynamically, its wings are too small with this big body.
Right.
But no one ever told it it couldn't fly.
Couldn't fly.
So it just kept going.
Exactly.
So I love that. Thank you for that. What you got?
I want to dive a little bit more into kind of going past your childhood, getting out of Tyler, Texas. What really led you into the education space? Like what passion or what influenced you to devote your career into that world?
I would have to say mentors, people who saw something in me and suggested this may be a way or pathway for you. I started off my career in higher education at a four-year university at Fresno State University in Fresno, California. At the time, I was an associate professor of psychology, and that's what I was teaching. I thought I was going to stay in that world, but then I started to meet other people. You know, you go to conferences, you go to other people, but people would say, you belong here. You belong in the community college. You got a community college mind. So you follow these mentors, and they said, okay, I have a job for you in community college. And so I was on my way to being a tenured professor at Fresno State. Mm-hmm. Then this position at a community college emerged. So I go into, at the time I only had a master's degree. You can go to work on your doctorate at USC and you can still be an assistant dean and do both parallel. So I'm a single mom at the time. I decided I could, you know, superwoman syndrome, this over here, we could do both things, all things possible. So I started the community college, and it was a fantastic career in community colleges because it opened access for students who would not be able to go to college without that proximity to the community college. So I stayed in the community college for several decades. It was a wonderful opportunity for me to share my gifts and be able to empower other students. To me, teaching and being able to be that classroom teacher is a very noble, awesome job, and it's one of honor for me to be able to capture those minds and help transform them to where they are now into being able to think for themselves. So that was a very good career for me in the community colleges. What happened was that other people started to say, you need to get out of that and train the next generation of community college leaders. That's when I met Dr. Earl Richardson at Morgan State University. I had gone through the ranks of the community college world, you know, inside the classroom, outside the classroom, had become a president over in Cypress College in Southern California. And when I moved to Baltimore, Dr. Richardson and I met. He was the president, a legacy president at Morgan State University. He saw the need to train community college leaders. And my husband was his frat brother, okay, networker. And, my wife can do that, you know. Husbands believe their wives can do anything, my late husband. So he introduced me to Dr. Richardson, and Dr. Richardson said, let's give it a try. And we did. And the program has grown over the last 25 years to being one of the most leading, dynamic leadership doctoral programs in the country. I believe it is indeed probably the largest online program in the country, educating and training community college presidents and leaders. It's just an awesome experience for the young people that want, and old, seasoned people who want to try new roles inside the community college, saying that you don't have to stay as a professor, you don't have to be a dean, you can aspire to be a president and a chancellor or a board or trustees member. So it's an awesome addition to higher education at an HBCU, the first one, probably, and still maybe the only one at an HBCU.
Wow. We definitely want to dig a little bit more into the HBCU experience. But we want to do it after we pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills.
We'll be right back on the Bro Code Show with Dr. Christine Johnson McPhail.
My name is Dr. Carolyn Carter, and I'm the Vice President for Institutional Advancement here at St. Augustine's University. We are the Bay. St. Augustine's University is a 156-year-old history. We are the change makers. We are the ones who are stepping into the space of healthcare and putting our community first. our students first, our institution first. We have 156 years of history to share with the world. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us who we are. That's what makes us Falcon. Our healthcare, how we're stepping into the space of ensuring that our communities are safe, making sure that our communities have embraced healthcare. We are wanting to turn our previous St. Agnes Hospital into a center for the study of healthcare disparities.
And we're back on the Broco Show on the campus of St. Augustine University with the Dr. McPhail. We tiptoed into the world of HBCUs before the break. We seem to be at a time now where they're getting a lot of notoriety. You know, Deion Sanders has kind of put HBCUs on the map. Recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, in February, you had a little bit of history making when you spoke at a pretty renowned session. Let me make sure I get this right. It was the 4th Annual Eucharist and Annual HBCU Welcome Sunday, where you went deep into the role that HBCUs play, the challenges, the relevancy. So my question to you is, in this new world where people are learning differently, not just in HBCUs, but in predominantly white institutions as well, what are some of the challenges that you see specifically within HBCUs and St. Augustine University?
I think we have to be able to define our distinctiveness in a way that we attract students who want what we are saying we offer. Many folks don't understand the different types of HBCUs. In North Carolina, there are 10 HBCUs, 5 are private, 5 are public. The 5 public institutions get state support for their programming, for their curriculum and tuition. We do not, as the 5 liberal arts private institutions, we what some say, we eat what we kill. We go out and we hunt and we start off from scratch each year, developing our budgets. And while it's a challenging opportunity, it makes us know that we are offering something that people want. Throughout the pandemic, our students did not turn away from us. St. Augustine's University's family stayed the course. They brought those young people here. We locked down the university, and we did not have the large clusters of breakouts that many of the other universities. The families believed in us. Our students stayed. After the height of the pandemic, our families came back. So generally speaking, our enrollment has been up, and we decrease, almost everyone does in the spring, but our fall enrollments have been record-breaking enrollments. We value that. So talking about distinctive differences is that we focus on the students. We want to help make sure that they accomplish what they need to accomplish while they're here, and it's like engaging the students and the families into a partnership that they will want to support St. Augustine's University after those students leave. And we believe it's working because we have record high of alumni engagement now, and we are very proud of that. So the challenge for us is to stay the course and to be able to pivot to student needs and to the program offering that makes sense for students. For example, we have a films program here. We have radio and TV. Now it's time for us to look at new and different ways that we can attract the students here so we can revive those programs.
Let me dive a little bit more to the students. The fellas and I were joking a little bit on the way in here, and you were sharing your story of how you felt as if you were at segregated institutions back in Tyler, Texas. I walked on the campus expecting to see a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. And I walked probably by more people of more white folks, and
it's okay to say that.
I can say that. More people of the Caucasian displasion.
Not African American.
Yeah, and then African Americans. So Tell us a little bit more about the demographics and the student population, because you think HBCU and your brain kind of goes to, okay, it's nothing but black people there. But I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of diversity.
We understand that we are in a diverse community. Just look around where we are right here at zip code 27610. We're part of the community. A historically black college, universities are who we are, who we will be. We've been 156 years, we're going to continue to be that. In order to be competitive in our community and whatever, we're opening our doors to other student populations. So we are deliberately and intentionally diversifying our student population. We will always be HBCU. Now here's what's happening. We know that there are some populations of students who have some similar cultural and historical backgrounds as African Americans. We have developed relationships with Native American leaders in North Carolina. The Native American student is the most underserved student population in the country. We've talked to some of those students and we've talked to the Native leaders, and they visited with us virtually, and some will be coming back to the campus to say, we believe our students could feel comfortable here. Some of our faculty and staff have gone through some of the culturally responsive training, how to interact with students. So that's one population we're looking at. The other population, and we learned this uniquely during the pandemic too. You may recall that we opened up our gates to the community for COVID testing, vaccinations, and what have you, supplies. We opened our gates. Surprisingly, the Hispanic community responded to us. They came in groves inside HBCU, this HBCU. And we held meetings in the gym talking about prevention, how to do the testing and all of that, answered questions. We had bilingual experts here to talk with them. I visited with some of them with my limited Spanish, and I wanted to know, why did you come? And they told me they trusted this university. So their people could feel comfortable here and talk to somebody that understood them. So that's the other population we're looking at. And we're looking at older populations of students. But our primary student population will always be the African American students. Right now we are at about 95% of our population is African American.
Trust will always be a big deal, huh? In any relationship.
You just came at a spot when those classes were.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on the campus too.
Oh
Very
my
lively.
gosh, it is. And what I believe the population you all probably saw today, there are some different types of leadership. The queens and the kings are all being competitive. The early college students are going over there to visit and see what's going on. So I love it when you walk out there and you see this kind of activity going on.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I love words, and you have hit a couple of my favorite words: relationships. You said mentors, and lastly, partnerships. Now you mentioned mentors being why you're sitting where you are, being able to kind of stand on their shoulders and get here. Relationships. You didn't really get into that. Why is that building good relationships, long-term relationships? Why is that so important to be successful?
It's essential. It's absolutely essential. We've even adopted a model for our relationship building, external relationship building. It's the Cressy model. Cressy's foundation felt that urban institutions need support outside of their gates. So they called it the strengthening the alignment of urban institutions. So there are about 10 different sectors in the community they felt that universities need to be connected with in relationship building activities. Philanthropic organizations, civic organizations, K through 12 organizations, business and industry, the whole transit system. Some people don't even think about the importance of the transit system, the city fathers. So we're looking at the faith-based communities. We rely on these institutions. So what we've done, we've adopted the Cressy model, and what we hold the meetings with these different constituents group periodically. For example, the first one coming up in the next few weeks will be with the legislators. We'll be meeting with them. We'll be meeting with, we've already met with the group of the community colleges. So there's a series to go on and say, this is what we're doing to serve this student population. What are you doing outside of the institution to serve the population? Now we know what we're doing, we know what you're doing. We can identify if we have a gap and then how we can close it.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. We're very intentional about the fact that we cannot do this without the external partnership. Here's something I'm really excited about. Okay, I'm gonna calm down.
Yeah.
The idea is that, look at this space. Y'all have seen the space, right? We have space to help grow stronger black businesses. So what we have petitioned the city of Raleigh to do is to recognize us as that anchor institution to serve as the alliance for black business in Southeast Raleigh. And we're talking about how we can formalize that. But here's the idea. We have space that we can do business incubators. We'll develop that relationship with a particular business. We're going to say, this is what you can gain from being a partner in the incubator. You stay here for X number of months or a year or whatever that length of time is, and then you go out and then we bring in another group. We've identified a building where this could take place, and we'll be looking for, we're doing it if we get no money, but we're hoping we can get some external funding. But we have the will to do it, and a group of people in the community who want to do that.
I love it. I love it. We want to dig more into wellness, a little bit more about what that means to you personally, as well collectively as a school. But you know what we got to do, right?
Yeah.
Pay the bills. We'll be right back on the Bro Code Show.
I'm Dr. Mark Melton, Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at St. Augustine's University. It's small, intimate, and you can build one-on-one relationships with students. So I've had the opportunity to serve at more than one HBCU in North Carolina. But I think I chose St. Augustine's University because when you drive onto the campus, it's inviting. It invites you home. It's authentic. And I just love the environment.
So we're back here on the Bro Code Show. Dr. McPhail, we want to talk about health and wellness in two areas, for you personally and also for your students in your campus. Let's start with you, though. First of all, was health and wellness something that you grew up with?
No, not intentionally. I think that living in an area that I lived in East Texas, people were more natural, growing their own food. We didn't eat out. People, home cooking and all of that. Eating out was like a big celebration, right? And it wasn't. So those were things that I grew up with. But once you get to college and you get caught up in the fast life, some of those habits that you knew about early, they go by the wayside. So more recently, though, I have returned to this notion that personally, for me, I can embrace a more healthier lifestyle, especially now that I have 5 grandsons and they're all athletes, and there's a, Grandma, we got to do something about your body. The absolute brutal truth about it. And this is what I want you to do. I must have at least 5 new different types of sneakers that's going to help me do this, and all kind of equipment that I have to learn how to use. But on a serious note, I'm of the mindset that it has to be a part of my lifestyle. It's not, you don't go on this fancy diet or go to this expensive spa, and it automatically melts off the pound, but does nothing for your mindset. So that's where I am now in my life, and I feel like I have an obligation to be healthy, to walk it out, so that I can be a model for the students and for the faculty and staff here. For example, last year we gave our faculty and staff wellness days so that they could just take off and just concentrate on themselves and for the students. Nobody else telling them what to do. And we want to continue to incorporate more of that kind of behavior and practices into the way that we do work around here.
Yeah. So we hear many people talk about generational wealth.
Right.
That's a big thing, but no one's really leaning into generational health.
Right.
Because without my health, what do I have? And so one of my biggest things personally was making sure that my children and my grandchildren can look at me and say, there's an example of someone who's healthy.
Yes.
Even when I get older. Let's pivot into your campus. You've shared a couple of initiatives and things that you're doing with a community face on it around wellness.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that with the building that you got going on and some of the things you want to do internally?
I'm going to go back just a little bit to say during the height of the pandemic, we went to the Board of Trustees, and many of the universities at the time was pushing back on advancing the notion that we needed to do mandated masking and that kind of thing. We took the initiative to the board that the health and welfare of our faculty and students was our utmost priority. They adopted that policy, and I think that's what saved us in terms of letting everybody know just how important the health and safety of the welfare. We created the internal campuses committee so that we could check on people's health. Employees were reporting how they're doing, how they're not doing things, so that we could start to look at what kind of trending was taking place. Yeah. So public health now for us is not only something that we want to do in our programming, but we want to promote those internal. We have a committee that will be looking at perhaps a walk, so that we can all come together. Symbolic, yes, but that we're all of the mindset that we're concerned about university-wide health. Now, in terms of our public health education center, we believe that it's a wonderful way for us to unite and embrace the community concerns as well. We've developed a partnership, a relationship with the National Black Farmers Association. They're concerned about nutrition, food deserts, and a lot of other ways on how we can have healthier communities. They will have a site on our campus so that we can have joint projects. Now, when it comes to the programming in the Public Health Center, relationship with the city of Raleigh. They help build out part of the building in terms of a commercial kitchen, and so that we can kind of do the kind of nutritional program and activities in the area. So it's a federal government initial funding got us started in that partnership. We are looking to do prevention, to do different programs, and we don't have all of the answers, and that's why I'm so excited about the staff that's working in the area. They're going to start doing some community forums to talk about, this is what we have in mind, what do you think the community needs? I'm looking forward to that, because if we start with where people are, and they can start from the ground floor to articulate what the needs are, then we can do some effective culturally responsive programming. I'm excited about the potential.
I love it. I love it. I think the last burning question is, what's next? Like the rich history. We've done a storytelling piece for the last hour and have talked about St. Agnes College. We've started at the front and talked about the richness of HBCUs. So what is next for this space? This holds a sacred heart in 27610, not just from the history, but having the most land in this area. So what's next?
Imagine with me an awesome center for the study of health disparities right there in that old building, where we have, and we do have some people who interest that. When we talk about, if we would just isolate 27610 and the health issues that are just in this community, we have comprehensive programming. So we're looking at ways that we can have the study, the prevention, health awareness, and we're talking about bringing scientists and different ones in to that facility. And it will be a robust environment. We'll have a restaurant. We plan to have a restaurant next door, and space outside, green space outside, walking around, and we'll have retail facilities, doctor's offices, and things in that area. You're going to want to be a part of this community.
Sounds like it.
You're going to want to be a part of this. And the ancestors would say we listened. They did the nursing. You think about this. Just think about it. They did the nursing facility, the training of African American nurses for years. We are now the they, and we are taking it to where we can become that part that will go into prevention and education. What a wonderful opportunity to build upon that legacy, and then they can rest and say that we listened to them, and it's robust, it's going to be a part of this community for years to come. The center, St. Agnes Place, the Center for the Study of Health Disparities. We've claimed it, and so it will be done.
That's a great spot. We'll be back on the Bro Code, but I'm going to get ready to create a t-shirt. We are now the they.
Yes.
I love that. That right there, that's a mic drop. We are now the they, right? So we're going to create that, and we'll be right back on the Bro Code Show.
My name is Dr. Rennell King, and I serve as the Vice President for Institutional and Sponsored Research. I chose St. Augustine's University because of the cultural identity. St. Aug is one of 2 HBCUs in the city of Raleigh, and we have a lot of historic history. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose St. Augustine's University. In addition to our bright and beautiful students, they are very, very amazing and talented, and I'm so willing to work with these students, and I'm happy to be here. What makes St. Aug different is that we have a strong commitment to our students. We invest in our students from the very first day that they walk into St. Augustine's University, when they enter into that gate. And that commitment keeps me here at St. Augustine's University.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show. We are wrapping things up with the interview with Dr. McPhail. I have to ask, have you enjoyed yourself on the Bro Code Show?
I have.
You have? What was the best part?
Talking about St. Agnes.
I love it.
We already knew that, right?
Yeah, you already knew that.
That's
You
near
saw
and
that
dear to
one
your heart.
coming.
Absolutely, that's where we started there.
That's where we
do our
started.
research. We do
That's
our
where we
research.
started
We're not new to this. Well, we always talk about words matter.
Yes.
And we've talked about that in this episode on several occasions. Well, before the episode, we asked you, what is a word that you would use to encourage yourself? And you said inspire. It's not about, but the word itself is not just about you. So we have something for you, but first I want to ask, why did you choose that word?
Because I think it represents the environment that we're in and the way people feel and how we can interact and connect with each other in ways that we can change and transform ourselves and transform the communities that we live in.
I love it. I love it. We've got something for you.
So in every episode, we give a prestigious $2 bill away. We write on there, you matter, because you do. We also write your name, it's right there, but we also put the word. And I felt inspired, and it's very contagious, your passion and your energy for everything you're doing. So we appreciate you. We actually all signed it on the back for you.
Wow, I love
And
it.
we'll give this to you.
And
Thank
hopefully
you so
that'll
very
make it up.
much.
You know, you have a prestigious office,
Yeah,
but maybe that'll make it up somewhere near there so
Oh,
you can remember the Bro
absolutely.
Code.
We're going to definitely, we'll do a double framing so you can see it on both sides.
That's something for us to think about in the near future. I love it. Maybe put it in glass
Yeah,
so you can
on
see
double
it right
side.
up
We have
there.
a double side. We can do that.
Wow, I love that. Well, words do matter, and we always end the show the same way, with a positive quote. Now, I'm sure I could think of one, Bro Kirk, Bro Smith could think of one, but I'm curious, do you have a quote
I
of your
do.
own?
It's one that we talk about every leadership meeting. And it's about, we are the change agents that we have been waiting for. It has to do with this whole concept that Barack Obama talked about, us being the change that we've been waiting for. And we take it one step further here at St. Augustine's University and say, we are now the they. And we have a responsibility for moving that change forward. So we can't wait on anyone else because we are the change that we have been waiting for. And we're excited about it and inspired to take it to the next level of excellence.
You heard it right here. We are now
The
the
they.
they.
Let's say it together.
We are now the they. I'm Bro Troy,
Bro Smith.
Bro Kirk.
and we are the Bro Code.
Hey, yeah. The life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it. It helped that I was raised with a mice known to roam. If you got it out.
Dr. McPhail, you just got off an episode with the Bro Code. Why did you interview with the Bro Code?
I couldn't miss the opportunity to allow you all to tell St. Augustine's story and what we're doing to change this community, this state, and the world.
Thank you.
Counseling. Okay, I get it now, you got them bouncing. I'd rather people focus on the words that I'm announcing. I discovered my worth by knowing God is my accountant. Blessing after blessing, will it stop? I'm still counting. Seeds manifest, good or bad, they still sprout. Mama, we made it out before the glass touch your mouth. Here's a toast to the light, something we can